Greetings and salutations, Dominions aficionados. This is turn number 17. Now, this turn's going to actually be in a little bit of a different format than the other ones, both because I was already thinking about changing up the format, and also because of a tragedy. So, the tragedy is that my mouse is actually breaking. And as a result, this turn didn't record properly the first time I played it. When I went to click on the record button, my mouse double clicked instead of clicked, and I recorded approximately half of a second as the program was processing that, and then took the whole rest of the turn and came back and realized I hadn't recorded. So, this is going to be our second time through this turn, which is a shame because it's a good turn. Here we go. Alright, so the structure I was planning to introduce this turn is based on John Boyd's strategic theories, specifically the OODA loop, which means that every turn we're going to spend some time observing things and orienting ourselves. Then we're going to make some decisions, and then we're going to enact those decisions. So I talked about that, and I went through this whole turn in that order. We're going to do it again. Here we go. Observing. Let's check all our messages, see what happened in battles. We have more Homestuck spam. We completed some research and enchantment. Somebody claimed the Golden Throne. I'm not sure which one this is. We might check that later. We summoned 2 packs of wolves. Our pretender god searched for some magic sites, but didn't find any. That's a pain. New prophet for Relia. It's Bill Kerman. Jebediah Kerman, unfortunately, is probably deceased by now. And then, let's see. Some of our guys died on a march, and we had some battles. Uh-oh. Also, is this us being attacked by Vanheim, despite them asking us for peace on Discord? Let's find out. Battle 1. Taking out some independents. Colored squares on, turbo mode. Fair number of guys, but they don't have very good shields, so our arrows should be effective. Yeah. No problem. Let's see. Lost 4 guys, killed 29. Not great, but good enough. We sent a single wizard into this throne province to check out what was there. What's there is the same thing that was last time. Some wizards, but they aren't too dangerous. Now, at this point, I would like to talk a little bit about how casting spells in this game works. There are 2 kinds of spells. There are combat spells and there are rituals. Rituals take a whole month to cast, a whole turn, and they're cast spending magic gems, and they do things like teleport a unit or create something or create a lasting enchantment in an area or summon a demon, something like that. Battle spells take varying amounts of time depending on what kind of spell it is. That's a new feature in Dominions 5. And some cost gems and some don't. Gems are used in spellcasting in 3 main ways. The first way is they can be used to pay the cost for a spell. So, for example, if this wizard wanted to cast Will-o'-the-Wisp, which I think is Fire 1, and I'm going to pretend it is for this example, and it costs 1 gem, he could cast that by spending one of these fire gems he's holding with his Fire 1 casting. That's the first way you can spend gems. Before we go further, it's important to know that you can only spend a number of gems on a spell equal to your total path in that spell. So your total rank in the path that spell belongs to. So for Will-o'-the-Wisp, he could spend 1 fire gem because he has 1 fire. Even though he has 2 of them, he could only spend 1. Okay, the second way you can spend gems is to boost your path by 1. You can only spend 1 gem that way. So, for example, if this wizard wanted to cast a fire spell that needed level 2 in fire, like Fireball or Phoenix Power, he could spend 1 of these fire gems to count as having fire 2 for that 1 spell. Same thing with water gems, same thing with earth gems. That's the second way you can cast spells using gems in battle. The third way is, let's say this guy's really tired, he's already at fatigue 80, and he wants to cast a fire 1 spell again, let's say fire darts. He could spend a gem to negate up to 100 points of fatigue on that 1 spell. So it makes it less tiring for them to cast spells. That's the 3 ways to use gems in battle. Now, based on knowing how gems can be spent, knowing what paths these 3 wizards have, and knowing how many of what kinds of gems they have, and having a general understanding of what the silly Dominion's AI likes to do. Remember, last turn we saw that it likes casting in large on nearby troops. We can get a sense of what these wizards might do. This guy is likely to either cast Phoenix Power using 1 of these fire gems, thereby making himself a fire 2 wizard for the rest of the battle, and then probably make elementals, or just start spamming small elementals of 3 different types, because he can make small fire elementals, small water elementals, and small earth elementals. Those aren't that dangerous to our troops. We should be able to shoot them and stab them to death relatively quickly. Fire elementals are ethereal and they burn you. Water elementals hit really hard, have a bunch of hit points and good stats. Earth elementals are tough and regenerate. But the small ones are all relatively easy to kill, and we would have a lot of guys coming in here. Right, I'm jumping ahead in our decision-making process, but this wizard is not super dangerous. This guy here can use 1 of these Astral Pearls to boost his path in all 3 of these by 1 level. Maybe then use 1 of these slaves here to cast Hell Power, which would boost his path even more, and then use a bunch of death gems to cast nasty spells and spam a whole bunch of skeletons. However, both of those things I mentioned will fatigue him a lot, and it's not super likely that the AI will choose to do both of those things. So while it's likely he will spam a number of skeletons because he has Death 2 and the AI loves to spam skeletons, he probably won't spam an impossibly high number of skeletons or attract extra dimensional horrors to attack everyone in the province, which is the downside of casting Hell Power. This wizard here is most likely to spam water elementals, I think, and maybe a few air elementals. He'll fatigue out pretty quickly if he spams air elementals, so the worst case scenario for us if we were to invade this province would be if he was spamming water elementals. The rest of the units here, these guys are pretty weak against arrows. These guys are pretty weak against arrows. These guys are not weak against arrows. That would be the hard part. And this is just an extra little priest with an enchanted sword for some reason. He's not going to be a threat. So that's the state of this throne. Let's see if our scouting wizard gets away. He does. And you can see these wizards just spent the first round buffing themselves. Alright. They may do something different in the actual battle. if we invade there, there is a threshold of danger, or of like how important the enemy looks, that the AI has to hit before it's willing to spend magic gems to keep from wasting them. Battle in Feral Woods. Sneak attack by Vanheim? No, not quite. This is a lone scout running into a province of ours. The possibilities are, 1, Vanheim thought we didn't have any province defense here and wanted to teach us a lesson by stealing one of our provinces with a single scout. Or 2, and much more likely, Vanheim made a misclick, much like I did when I tried to record this turn the first time, and sent this scout to attack instead of sneak. You have to hold down control and click to have a stealth unit attack, but if Vanheim has been moving around a lot of stealthy armies, which he probably has because many of his units have stealth by default, then he's probably used to control clicking by reflex, and this sort of thing can happen. So, alas, this poor scout, he did not do very well in his first battle. And then we have one more battle this turn. This is our 2 armies combining together to attack a Lizardman province. Once again, this did not take very long, and I don't think anything particularly dangerous happened. They didn't curse our Prophet, who's the only unit in this stack we really care about, so we're fine. Some unexpected events. Werewolves attacked. Land has been trapped in perpetual winter, so sucks because this place will be cold and it'll be hard to move troops through it. Great because we get more free water gems. Okay, looks like more werewolves next month in Zimria. More werewolves this month in Wick. Unnaturally expanding forest in the Silver Woods. Not quite sure what's up with that. 200 people left. Province income -3. Not a big deal. Oaklands. Also a forest growing wild. There might be something up with that. I should maybe check out what's going on there. Province income and resources -10. That's a little bit annoying because it's -10 income for every turn for the rest of the game. So that might be like as much as 600 gold. Maybe 900 gold. I hope not. That would be terrible. But still not a huge deal. And then a local wizard has been lynched after allegations of turning a peasant into a frog. His magical resources have been transported to the lab. 1 fire gem and 2 astral pearls. Well, it's nice to have some extra gems. Shame about the wizard, I guess. I hope no bad events come from this next month. I don't think they do. The event system in this game is really cool and deep. There are literally thousands of hand-coded events that are often linked to other events and are rolled on a big random table every turn, and it's part of what keeps this game so fresh and fun. A worldwide event has occurred. The Throne of Summer is spreading warmth across the world, so once again we've got cold spreading from the Winter Throne and warmth spreading all across the entire world because someone claimed the Summer Throne. Those things are fighting it out. And then 2 more battles. Independence attacking us. It's werewolves! Luckily, we've been buying 5 province defense everywhere because we have misfortune, and our province defense is pretty good. So I'm not too worried about these small werewolf attacks. I heard from one of the other players on Discord that they got attacked by a stack of 50 in one of their provinces, which would probably have messed us up, but we were successfully able to take out those werewolves. They're not that scary, but they regenerate and they have a bunch of attacks. So against not piles of dudes armed with spears, they can be quite dangerous. Alright. So. Continuing observations. And also, you may notice that there are some orders here already. That's because, yes, this is the second time I'm taking this turn. This army took this province. They're going to keep going this way. We've got a lot of troops coming out up here. We're moving them up this way. We are searching. Well, we searched down here, and our wizards who searched are moving on. We're continuing to build the fort here. and we will start slowly recruiting Masters of the Way here this turn. That means we'll get an extra Master of the Way before the Palisades is done, and we'll probably get one more before we switch to a Geomancer every turn once the Palisades is done, or once it's upgrading to a fortress. We're starting to build another fort here. We had to cancel a few more. We had to cancel our infantry recruitment this turn here to be able to pay for this fort, but also it would take a while for those guys to get anywhere that we needed them, so that's probably okay. Here's something. We took this province no problem. Yama has stuff on our border, but hasn't even bothered expanding to here yet. They don't seem to be doing that great. And I realized that this river is frozen again, even though it's summertime. That this river thawed again because it's summertime, and the Throne of Summer is spreading heat. So even though these are frozen lands and they increase cold, we can't actually cross this river, which is super annoying because I wanted to send a bunch of troops over to here. So instead of going around like I was planning last turn, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 provinces to get to Shinuyama, we're just going to go through this throne where it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, so 2 turns faster. So we're going to attack this throne with all of our gathered troops this turn. Now, oh, also, this wizard who we sent scouting bounced off. Sorry, I'm mixing our Orient and Deciding loops here because I can't help talking about the orders you already see. We were able to... Let's finish absorbing new information. I think that's pretty much everything. We can see Monkey has a fort here. That's fine. He's recruiting slave mages, not assassin kids, so that's good. He has a national assassin that's pretty annoying, or can potentially be annoying in late game. Our scout is moving out further this way. We can see that Vanheim has pretty strong province defense on these islands, which means that it will be tricky to do a stealth stab shenanigan on them. We'll see. And I think that's all the information. So decisions. We were going to have these guys start going this way this turn, have these guys start working their way around, keep moving people up this way, but with this river in the way, that's really inconvenient. So we're going in to take this throne, like I said. I discussed how we were organizing our army a whole bunch. I started by looking at each subgroup that I had, because that way I could see what commanders I had available. I organized them to have the archers spread out in many stacks, and the infantry in as few big stacks as possible. The reason for that is that the infantry, we want them to hold position, take up space, and take as long as possible to rout. The archers we're going to set to fire, which means that they will not prioritize any kind of target, but each will pick a random squad to fire on, which means that we'll get saturation fire over the entire enemy army, which is good because most of them are vulnerable to arrows, most of them are relatively low morale, some of them are weak squishy wizards, and we want to rout them as quickly as possible so that the battle doesn't drag on and more spells don't happen to us. Now, those cavalry we saw that are the biggest threat to our infantry, we're going to actually send some wizards of our own to deal with them. Down here we have 3 Geomancers that we've recruited, and we're going to move all 3 up this way. I've given each of them 3 Earth Gems, and they're each going to do the following. They're going to cast Summon Earth Power, then they're going to cast Earth Meld 3 times. Summon Earth Power will make them Earth 2, Astral 1. Earth Meld is an area of effect, range 25 spell that embeds any units that it hits in the ground. They'll be able to break free after a turn or 2, but while they're embedded in the ground, their defense goes way down, and it's easier to hit them with spears and arrows, and it'll keep them from getting to us and starting to kill us too quickly. Also, in order to keep them from getting to us and killing us too quickly, We're moving up some of our wolves. We're keeping more here and we're summoning more because eventually those are going to be siege chaff to help tear down the walls, and we don't want to take all of them in because they will all get killed. But here's what our combined armies going in look like. I talked a lot about how this interface works. I can right click on guys here, move them around. I can give them orders using hotkeys. H is hold and attack, R specifies rear. I can copy paste orders. Control S shows what I have saved. And if I mouse over somebody and hit control a number, like we can save this order to 3, then that is saved in 3 and I can assign it to somebody else. Notice it's all grayed out because he can't cast those. And then I can hit 1 to give him back the orders he had. The idea here, our archers are spread around the back and sides, but will begin to advance as much as they need to get in range, starting at the beginning of the battle. The second round, these guys, and these guys will begin to advance. These guys will run forward instantly and hopefully get charged by the cataphracts, wasting the cataphract lance hits, and also bogging the cataphracts down for a round or so while these guys get ready. And then these guys will earth meld the cataphracts, holding them in place in front of that army while they are arrowed and then stabbed to death. And we should win with minimal losses. 9 earth gems is a fair bit of an investment here. We have 32 still and we're getting 4 per turn, but earth gems are good. And if we had more wizards, there are other ways I could cast Earth Meld without using that many gems, but we're just going to get it done this way. This guy's searching for sites out here. We are recruiting just a Geomancer this turn, and also casting another pack of wolves down here this turn, I think. Actually, let's change that. We're not going to have another commander down here for a bit, and we're not going to have more troops down here for a bit, so it's somewhat silly to make more wolves down here right now. And this guy can, in fact, just move all the way up here in 1 turn. Can this guy do that too? No. Why not? What's your movement? Your movement is 16. Your movement is 14, but you're only moving at 12. Why are you moving at 12? Because these archers are moved 12. Okay. Well, that's too bad. Does it snow here? It's snow here, though. So we're going to send this apothecary to walk up here so that we can make wolves, even more wolves up here next turn if we want. No, we'll just have the apothecary research this turn. We don't need that many more wolves, probably. Well, let's see. Okay. Can we see? We can't see Yama's fortification anymore. Assuming that it is a castle, or it may actually be worse than that, but it has a siege defense of, well, a wall integrity of probably somewhere between 300 and 500. So a wolf is 0.8 siege strength. So if we have 100 wolves, that'll be 80 siege strength. So we want more wolves than we have. We're going to move this guy up here and have him keep making wolves. This guy has the same paths as this one down here, but we can send him up this way to start searching for sites, because it'll be a long time before we can get that guy around to search for sites up there. We'll start him off up here because this province hasn't been searched at all. And other than that, anything else important we need to talk about this turn? Our research is slower than I would like. I actually forgot to re-equip somebody with that magic quill last turn, which is a small thing, but small things add up. Hopefully we'll start getting more wizards per turn soon. We don't have any of our main research goals yet, which is going to be painful soon. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be using wizards for things like making sure we don't lose a lot of troops taking this throne, because that will slow us down more than a few turns of wizards doing other things will. All right. I believe that that is the turn. The next one is going to happen as soon as I hit end turn. So, oh yeah, one more thing. And this is something I forgot. We should look where we saw foreshadowing for werewolves. Zimria, maybe Silver Woods, and I thought there was one more. Werewolves. Alright, so we just want to double check that everywhere has enough province defense that it can probably repel a werewolf attack. Oh, we have a couple provinces with 2, and one of them is Zimria. That's not so great. So we're going to, once again, recruit 1 less footman, and then go and increase the defense in Zimria up to 5, and recruit another 1 less footman, and go to Wick. Was it Wick? Well, alright. We can recruit several less footmen. We don't need footmen, we just need archers. Alright, so we want Wick to be up to 5. Is that a place we just conquered? Yeah. And I guess the werewolves already happened there. We didn't need to do that, but it's good to have it anyway, just because misfortune will mess us up sooner or later. And Feral Woods, no? Oaklands? Alright, yeah, these forest growing wild events in Silver Woods and Oaklands. So Oaklands is here, Silver Woods is here. Those could also mean something, so I'm just going to bump up province defense a little bit extra in those spots too. Okay. I could look those events up. They may actually not be foreshadowing anything. Let's see, were there past events here? Ill Omens. No. Okay. So the plan is our armies will move here and combine and take this throne. Then small forces will split out to take these, while the rest of our guys advance directly on the Shinigami capital, thus cementing our control of this whole portion of the map, while we continue to push through towards this throne up here and start to push this way. I'm hoping Vanheim won't have gotten too far and that I'll be able to contest him for some of this territory before we have to declare war on him, but we probably have to declare war on him sooner or later. So where's the off-world connection here? It's here? Yeah, he's gonna get that, and well, we'll see, but destroying Vanheim would be good before they become a blood monstrosity and summon infinite storm demons, and it becomes impossible for us to take battles off of them. Right now, arrows are good. Arrows will not be all that good forever, so we got to use our arrows while our arrows are worthwhile. Okay, that's take 2 of turn 17 of My Path to Ascension Begins Here. I won't be recording the next turn right away. I'll do it in a few hours or maybe tomorrow. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.